Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'll be looking at the patch notes that Ubisoft released, well, a day ago at the moment of releasing this video, on the 7th of March. Now, the patch itself is not out. The patch itself will be out as we see here on the 14th of March. So that's when the patch will actually come out, title update 2.06. But we do have the patch notes. Now the reason I'm making this video is, I usually wouldn't make a video about patch notes unless there's actual somewhat interesting things in them and things that I wanted to talk about, and that's kind of the case here. But I want to start this by saying, first of all, as you guys are reading these patch notes or hearing me read them, Ubisoft cannot write their own patch notes. There's been so many situations where they just forget to put something in, or they put something in that's not true. Just look at all the videos that Freeze, for example, made, where he just documents undocumented changes from the patch notes, and there's so many more changes like that. So everything I'm saying here is going to be speculation, because first of all, there could be more changes. There could be some changes that I assume are implied, but Ubisoft maybe didn't think that far ahead. There's going to be some changes that we think work one way, but then they don't. Like, for example, if you just look at the patch notes of Season 9, a Warlord charge is 500 milliseconds, so that's, that's quick. That's actually, maybe that can work sometimes, but no, it's actually very, very bad, and it was difficult to kind of tell people that before the season came out, but of course we had the ability to test and we knew. So all of these patch notes, all the timings, things like that, I'm going to assume that they're working the way that Ubisoft is telling that's going to work. I'm going to have some speculation on certain things as well, of course, but I'm going to assume that the patch notes are correct, which is a bad assumption to make, but it's an easy one to, if I want to make a video. So the biggest changes this patch are Revenge, UI, Shinobi, and JJ. There's a few more that I will mention because I want to kind of go through all the important ones. But those are the 4 biggest changes in this patch. And again, it's going to be coming out on the 14th of March, mid-season patch. Okay, so at first there's some just looking at the patch notes, like in order, some arcade things, doesn't matter. Now we have in-game HUD. So they're removing skulls from breaking. And I think what they're saying here is that they're changing the UI itself to more like Breach, maybe the Assassin's Creed event UI. I'm not 100% sure because, again, this is Ubisoft, so I'm not actually sure what they mean. But for the minion and skirmish, I think they'll be making it more of the Assassin's Creed UI, where there is no breaking skull, where there is no things like that. So it's a much more clean UI. Despite it not being perfect, of course, there's issues with it, but it's a much better UI than the one we have currently. So that's good. There's some customization, whatever. Now, one of the biggest ones in this patch, improvements in general Revenge. Revenge meter is no longer increased when in a 1v1 or when you outnumber your opponent. So that means in a 2v1, 3v1, 4v1, right? So that means that, of course, in a 1v1 scenario, no one will be getting any revenge. And second of all, no one will be getting revenge in a 2v1 scenario. So if you're ganking somebody with a teammate, neither you nor the teammate will be getting any revenge. Only the opponent that you're ganking will actually be getting revenge. Now this matters for a few situations, and the second part, of course, the former part where there is no revenge in 1v1 matters for every situation where there is a 1v1, or if it's a team fight, if there's somebody who's low, you can wait for their tags that I will be talking about in a bit. You can wait for their tags to wear off, their revenge tags, and then attack them, because then they will not be able to get revenge, right? So you can do like a 1v1 scenario in a team fight as well. You can play it like that. But the part where you're ganking and you're not getting revenge matters if you're low. You might almost have revenge, but you just can't get it because you're the one ganking. And also matters against like characters like Berserker or somebody who, you're not gonna be getting anything if those characters, if you're ganking those characters and they have some form of offense. So that's a really good change that allows more 1v1 scenarios to play out. Now, there's a lot of issues with 1v1 scenarios in 4v4, and the biggest one being maps in 4v4 and in For Honor overall are just terrible, meaning so that even if there's a good 1v1 hero like Black Prior, there is not actually going to be any 1v1 happening, because anytime I'm against a Black Prior in a 1v1 on a point, of course, I'm just going to be like, well, okay, I'm just that I can just not fight. I can just unlock from my opponent and run around the point. There's no counterplay to it. There's absolutely nothing that he can do to me to counterplay that. So that's a good change, but it needs more. Then there's the second part of this change where this 1v2, 1v3, and 1v4 revenge multipliers have been increased. I don't like that because I don't think this change needs compensation. I don't think we need to nerf ganks in any way. Ganks are already, unless you have very specific heroes, which for the most part, went down from like 5 to 6 to now being like 2 or 3 heroes who can like somewhat gank. I don't think we need compensation for this. I think it would be fine if it 1v2, 1v3, 1v4 just stayed the way it is, and there's just less revenge in 1v1. But that is happening. Again, I think it's a bad change, but maybe it's to appease Reddit or something like that. I can understand it like that from that perspective. Then I want to talk briefly about revenge tags, so that you guys know exactly how they're going to calculate this. Like, are you in a 1v1? Are you not? How this works? Okay, so the way this works is there's revenge tags. Revenge tags count 5. Revenge tags last for 5 seconds, and the way they work is anytime somebody attacks you, well, now for 5 seconds you're tagged in a 1v1 with this person, and then another person attacks you. Now you count for a 2v1 for 5 seconds, and the timer resets, so it is 5 seconds. So let's say two opponents are attacking you, and you're by yourself. Now it's a 1v2. So then you're gonna start getting revenge from the second person attacking you. That's how the tags work, and they, as I said, last 5 seconds. If they feint an attack or whatever, it doesn't matter. The attack has to actually land, or you have to block it, or you have to like dodge it or something as well. Although dodging is a little bit finicky with revenge, but it still does work. So that's how they're going to know. It's not proximity, like I saw a lot of people mention that maybe it's proximity. It's not. It's just simply who's attacking you, not who's looking at you or anything. It's attacking. So even if you're not looking at them, but you attack them, it counts as a revenge tag as well. Okay, so again, this is a good change, but this is not by any means over. Like, there needs to be more done to actually help 1v1s in 4v4. And of course, they're nerfing ganks more and more, which is an issue as well, because you can't actually kill anybody in 4v4 if that somebody wants to not die. So that's an oversight by Ubisoft, but then again, maybe it's a part of a bigger plan. Unbalanced state no longer has dodge properties. So basically what this means is that, you know how often your attacks whiff on out of stamina punishes, right? Well, this will not happen, at least if we are to believe this patch note. Those things don't happen anymore. So basically that means that there's going to be new max punishes. So, all those videos by Freeze, who I think is still making like the updated versions. I think he made one for Nebusha the other day. Freeze is gonna have to make them again if he wants to have actually updated punishes. He's gonna have to do it again. So I'm sure you guys can like check out competitive For Honor like a few days after the punishes, the patch is out, to kind of check out the punishes. I'm sure they'll be updating their hub there. I don't like that, by the way. I like the part where it's less annoying because it stops whipping, but I don't like the part where it just gives you more damage now. I'm assuming it's gonna be more damage. I'll be very surprised if classes like Nushia didn't get more damage, because a part of her out of stun punish, I think, but then again, don't trust me on this one. Check competitive For Honor and their like article or not article, their Excel sheet or whatever on all the punishes. Check that one out and trust that one more than you trust me. I'm pretty sure a part of Nushia's, at least, parry punish or out of stamina punish, one of the punishes, is that you whiff like a light attack, or you whiff like a heavy attack, or something like that. I don't think it's a heavy, I think it may be a light. Or maybe like if you do a heavy, it whiffs. I know for a fact, Black Prior, if you do like a top light into the undodgeable heavy as a punish, the top light whiffs, so you only get the heavy. So things like that shouldn't be happening. anymore. Okay, so now the Shinobi nerf. Slide tackle now starts to hit at 600 milliseconds from 300 milliseconds. That's a weird way to phrase it. Don't you think? Like, it's a weird way to say, I don't know, startup frames, or active frames, or simply it's slowed down or something. But now they made this to make it sound weird. Like, I don't know, maybe that's how they just want to say it, but it's a weird way for me at least to like read this patch and like, wait. Usually I wouldn't think about this because it would just be like, side tackle is now 600 milliseconds, right? Down from 300, or up from 300, sorry. But whatever. And zone attack's first strike cannot be feinted. Now slide tackle is absolutely broken. I'm assuming it will still be very, very strong in 4v4, but not very good in 1v1. If that's the case, that's nice. There's still a lot of things that slide tackle has for itself. Absolute unpunishability, absolute revenge denial, things like that. So those are the things that it still has for itself. So it could still be a good 4v4 tool, but a much weaker one as well, especially in 1v1. And zone attack being feintable, sure. I don't know why it's not the case for like Centurion. If Haley, if you're watching this video, have fun. But yeah, I'm not sure why it's not the case for other characters, but I mean, sure, whatever. It's gonna give him a decent option select, and it's gonna make it easier for him to gain a health lead and run around. I don't know what this even means. The choke. I think it just removes the hyper armor on the choke after parry, but that doesn't do anything, so it's whatever. They nerfed Soothing Mist in a way that kind of makes it garbage, I think. If they just did this change, healing values only, and then not touch the cooldown, or maybe made it 90 seconds, I could still see an argument for running it. But with both of these, you will just run second wind every time. So it's if 0 nearby enemies, it's 10, 1, 15, 2, 20, 3, 25, and 4, 30. So basically they made it so that instead of it being a 15 health increase, it's now a 5 health increase. And I think that's fine. Maybe they could have started at 15 health and then made it so it's 35 at the highest. But then increase the cooldown to maybe 90 seconds, or just keep it at 60. I think 90 seconds and then make second wind's cooldown 90 seconds as well. Like, as a simple way to change it before before actually nerfing second wind the way that it has to be nerfed. But again, just as Ubisoft, they don't actually do correct changes, so there we go. This is better than having nothing, because Soothing Mist was absolutely broken. So like, I'm happy with this change, but this is not needed. No longer gives revenge meter when attacking soldiers, pikemen, and archers. This is about revenge attacks. So this, you guys might be confused about this one. Basically what this does is you were able to keep your revenge forever in minions with revenge attacks. So with Nobushi, with Berserker, and things like that, you were able to keep your revenge forever if you just kept killing minions. That was a bug that used to be the case for every character, like you could always do it. They fixed it in Season 9, and they just didn't fix it for revenge attacks, so that's the fix. I think Berserker will probably still get revenge in the 1v1 scenario, I would have to assume, but hopefully not. Hopefully they actually thought about it and made it so that Berserker doesn't get revenge in the 1v1, because it would be broken, or keep, as broken as it is right now, or even more, because nobody else would get any. So hopefully he doesn't get any. Then punch through, this is not useful. This is, if you guys think that this makes punch through okay or even better, not really. You have to be in revenge as Kong, or the guy has to be out of stamina, and then if he's out of stamina, you have your bash. You're not using lights, and the lights are can be just backwalked anyway, so that's not useful change. The banner style changes, not useful. Perk changes I am not sure about, as in I don't actually know perks too much, because I don't play the game, first of all, anymore, and second of all, I don't care about the perks. I just play whatever my character has for perks, and that's it. So I'm not going to be making any comments on these. It's nice that they're somewhat keeping them in check, but this is just like 5 or 6 perks, like 4 months or 5 months after release, so it is very late. Some breed changes, again, not too interesting. They just reoriented some spawn positions, or they changed some boost positions, nothing important. They buffed Berserker's out of stamina punish, because they broke it, where heavy attacks would sometimes whiff if you like threw forward, so that's not the case anymore. And they nerfed Highlander's phantom range attacks, so meaning that you could make his heavy very easily unparryable while still hitting you. They buffed Shaman actually in a pretty substantial manner, so I will read this one. Fixed an issue where Shaman's Predator's Hunger would push away the Shaman and when landing on an opponent that had forward movement, such as dodging forward. This also worked on attacks, like if you were attacking and then the Shaman just bashes you out of your attack before it connects, the bash would not guarantee anything, not even a light. Of course, not even talking about the zone would not be guaranteed there either. So hopefully that's the fix for it, because they already fixed it once, they claimed, and they just didn't fix it. So hopefully this is actually a fix for it, and that's a big deal then if it is. They nerfed Aramusha in a way that actually, like, well, they did make sense. It's just that it's funny that they're nerfing Aramusha yet again. It's like the 7th nerf he's getting. They nerfed Shaolin's flickers, which is nice because now the only way to like somewhat make his offense like okay doesn't exist anymore. I'm kind of joking around. Like obviously Shaolin's offense is not very good, but at the same time, it's flickers, it's bugs. Of course, it needs to be fixed. They didn't really change anything about Black Prior, and these changes are not important. But a change that's somewhat important is they fixed apparently ballistas now cost 20 damage to the ram, and the reason that matters is now they also fixed. Oh, there we go. Ballistas on Sentinel no longer one shot. Instead, they do as much damage as ballistas, so 20 damage. Or 20 damage. Well, no, sorry, I said it wrong. The ballistas in Breach deal 20 damage to the ram, but they deal more to the characters or to minions. So it's going to deal as much damage as it does in Breach. Now, them calling this a bug fix is just funny to me because it's so clearly not a bug. Like this was clearly the way they wanted the ballistas to be on Sentinel, but they're just calling it a bug. I guess to like be like, sorry, it was a mistake, but we didn't mean for this to be like. No, you clearly did mean for it to be like that, but it's kind of whatever. And then they just kind of didn't do anything else. And there's a bunch of different bugs, but nothing like too important. So basically, as I said, the 4 most important changes are Revenge, UI, Shinobi, and Jiang Jun. Those are the 4 most important changes. Those are good changes for the most part. Like the JJ change is better than nothing, but it's not good enough. Shinobi changes okay-ish for a moment, just from reading just from reading the patch notes. And Revenge changes okay. They've been needed, not necessarily in the way that I think that they are. I don't think they've been done in the way they should be done, but at least they are done, which is good. And the UI, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better. So the reason I made this video is, as I said, if there's a patch usually in For Honor, it either has bad changes or it just has no changes. Usually it has both. It has terrible changes, but there's like 2 of them anyway, so nothing actually changes. This one has like 4 changes, but they're all like they're like okay. So that's why I wanted to make a video to kind of talk about them and give you guys my opinion on why they're bad or why they're good. So that's about it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I don't plan on making videos for every patch or anything like that. As I said earlier in the video that I made last time, where I said in the comments, I'm back in university now, which means I don't have that much time to make videos, stream, or anything like that. But I do stream still, and I do still plan making videos. So keep an eye out for that. And I hope you somewhat enjoy at least this analysis, let's say. Now, if my opinions sway heavily on this patch, I will end up making maybe a second video to kind of my impressions after the patch, but I assume that they wouldn't change too much. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you guys next time.